Hard times make hard choices, many in tiny kitchens. During the Great Depression, families turned potatoes, beans, and scraps into dinners that filled bellies and kept hope alive. These 25 poor man meals show how survival can still taste like comfort. Food was never just food in the 1930s. It was a plan for staying afloat. Paychecks shrank or vanished, and long lines formed at soup kitchens. In small apartments and farmhouse kitchens, the goal was simple: stretch cheap staples into something hot, filling, and repeatable. Potatoes, beans, rice, cornmeal, cabbage, and day-old bread became the building blocks. A little fat from the bacon tin flavored whole pots. Wilted vegetables were trimmed, bones simmered twice, and leftovers rarely went to waste. These meals mattered because they were dependable, affordable ingredients, forgiving recipes, and big batches that could feed a crowd today and again tomorrow. They also kept dignity on the table. A pot of stew said, "We're still here." Ederland. A pan of biscuits turned scraps into supper. In hard times, technique and thrift became the real secret ingredients. Know how that kept families going. Survival cooking was a mindset: stretch, swap, and save. Cooks built meals on cheap potatoes, rice, pasta, bread, then used tiny amounts of meat for flavor, not the centerpiece. Drippings in a jar became tomorrow's gravy. Vegetable scraps and bones simmered into broth. Yesterday's stew turned into today's soup, with a little water and a handful of noodles. Foraged greens, dandelion, poke, lamb's quarters stood in for store-bought produce. Ovens stayed off when coal was costly. Skillets, Dutch ovens, and big soup pots did the heavy lifting. Nothing was wasted. Stale bread became crumbs, crumbs became dumplings, and even pickle juice found its way into salads. Fried potatoes and onions stretched a few sliced hot dogs into a full skillet. The starch did the heavy lifting. The Franks added smoke and salt. Served with ketchup or mustard, it fed kids fast, using one pan and pennies. Elbow macaroni boiled in the same pot as canned tomatoes, corn or beans, and sliced Franks. It's soup meets pasta, filling, forgiving, and cheap. Stretch with extra pasta water or finish with a pat of butter when you have it. A campfire classic, everyone tosses something into the pot. Potatoes, carrots, onion, a bone, maybe beans. Long simmering turns scraps into supper. Season with salt and a splash of pickle brine or vinegar to wake the flavors and stretch further. A pot of pintos simmered with onion, or a ham bone if you had one. Cornbread fills the plate and the stomach. Crumble the bread right into the beans, add chopped raw onion, and you've got dinner for a crowd. Yesterday's cornbread became tomorrow's breakfast. Crumble into a bowl, pour over cold milk or tangy buttermilk, maybe a little pepper. It's soft, cool, and surprisingly satisfying quick fix when the stove stayed off or the pantry was nearly bare. Cook cornmeal into thick porridge. Chill overnight, then slice and fry. Topped with a little syrup, gravy, or applesauce. It's sweet or savory. The same sack feeds multiple meals: porridge first day, crispy mush cakes the next. Make a quick roux with drippings and flour, whisk in canned or garden tomatoes, and simmer till thick. Ladle over biscuits or toast. It's bright, tangy comfort that turns a scrap of fat and flour into a real meal. Free nutrition from the yard. Young dandelion leaves washed well, tossed with onion and a splash of vinegar or bacon drippings. Bitter greens brought vitamins when produce was scarce. Serve alongside beans, bread, or potatoes to round out the plate. Plain rice was cheap insurance. Gravy made it craveable. Use pan drippings or a bouillon cube. Whisk flour and water, simmer till silky. Spoon over big bowls of rice, and add any stray peas or carrots for color. Onion and potatoes simmered in water or milk until tender, mashed lightly for body. A dab of butter or drippings adds depth. Topped with pepper and stale bread croutons, it warmed hands and hearts when winter felt longest. Elbow macaroni, onions and tomatoes with a little ground beef, if luck allowed. Spiced with paprika or just salt and pepper, it's a one-pot wonder that stretches meat across many plates. Leftovers reheat beautifully for tomorrow's lunch. Day-old bread, buttered and toasted with a thin layer of cheese, dunked in tomato soup, often watered down to serve more bowls. Simple, fast, and kid-approved. The trick: press the sandwich in a hot pan for a crisp golden seal. A pot of baked beans, sweetened with molasses or brown sugar, bulked with sliced hot dogs. It's Saturday supper energy, hearty, smoky, and affordable. Add a spoon of mustard for tang and serve with brown bread or cornbread. Rice mixed into seasoned ground meat makes prickly porcupine meatballs as the grains expand. Simmer in tomato sauce until tender. 1 pound of meat feeds many when rice does the stretching. Serve with bread to capture every drop. Dried beef or scraps simmered in white gravy, poured over toast. Salty, creamy, and rib-sticking. It began as mess hall fare and stuck around at home. When beef wasn't available, bits of ham or sausage did the job. A calorie-dense odd couple that made sense. Peanut butter for protein, mayo for moisture and fat. Spread on soft bread with sliced banana or apple if you had one. Sweet, savory, and surprisingly filling for pocket change. Thinly sliced raw onion between buttered bread with salt and pepper. Humble but punchy. If you had a splash of vinegar or pickle juice, that tang cut the bite. It rode to work in lunch pails and filled the gap. Nose to tail thrift. Inexpensive liver dredged in flour, pan-fried and piled with sweet sautéed onions. Iron-rich and quick, it turned a modest purchase into a hot plate. Serve with mashed potatoes or fried cabbage, onions, and egg noodles tossed with butter or drippings. Pepper-heavy, salt to taste. Immigrant kitchens made it a standby because cabbage was cheap, filling, and kept well. Add a few bacon bits when fortune smiled. Shredded cabbage, simmered with potatoes, carrots, and onion in a simple broth. A ham bone or smoked scrap deepened flavor when available. A splash of vinegar at the end brightens everything. It's budget-friendly comfort that improves on day 2. When fruit was scarce, ingenuity baked dessert. Vinegar or water pies thickened with flour and sugar, spiced with cinnamon. A custardy, tangy stand-in that satisfied sweet cravings. Made with pantry staples, these pies kept morale high at low cost. No eggs, butter, or milk required. Mix flour, sugar, cocoa, oil, water, and vinegar right in the pan. Baking soda does the lift. It's moist, chocolatey thrift that feels like a celebration, even when the pantry is thin. Crackers, masquerading as apples, simmered with sugar, water, lemon, and warm spices, then baked under a crust. The texture fools you, the aroma comforts you. When orchards or markets failed, this clever pie brought dessert back to the table. Canned meat meant consistency. Dice Spam with onions and potatoes, fry until crispy edged, and splash with a little vinegar or hot sauce. It's salty, savory fuel that stores well and cooks fast. Perfect for long days and short budgets. A soup kitchen hack. Hot water whisked with ketchup, a pat of butter if available, and a pinch of salt. Add noodles or leftover rice when possible. It's not gourmet, just a warm, tomato-tinged bowl when there's almost nothing left. In lean kitchens, every step stretched a coin. Save bacon grease for gravies and frying. Turn bones and peelings into broth. Bulk out meat with rice, oats, or beans. Bake once, eat twice. Reheat yesterday's stew with extra water and noodles. Use pickle juice or vinegar to season instead of pricey stock. Keep a scrap jar for soup. Garden, can, or trade with neighbors. Dry breadcrumbs from stale bread. Fry leftover cornmeal mush. Keep lids on and heat low to spare fuel. Keep the spirit, update the habits. Rinse canned beans to cut sodium. Choose store brands and buy in bulk when it's cheaper. Add frozen vegetables for vitamins without waste. Swap lard for a little oil. Or use an air fryer for crispy fried potatoes. Favor whole grain bread, brown rice, or oats for staying power. Batch cook stews and freeze portions. Rotate pantry staples and label dates. Save bones and peels for broth, then compost what's truly spent. These dishes weren't identical everywhere. Families cooked by season, region, and budget. Many recipes existed before the 1930s and simply grew popular when money tightened. Soup kitchens, relief programs, and immigrant traditions shaped the pots. The common thread, thrift, patience, and ingenuity. Hard times forged hearty plates and clever cooks. 25. Poor man meals that got us through Depression era. To survive still feed wallets and spirits today.